Hey, good
Yeah.
morning, and thank you for joining us. This is Phil with the Guided Growth Syndicate, and I am here to talk to Will Self. He is a subject matter expert on AI and chatbots. Will, why don't you introduce yourself here?
Good morning, everybody. How you doing? My name again is Will. Um, kind of a little shaky, so I do apologize if this is just a little bit weird. But um, I have a background in computer electrical engineering. My degrees in cybersecurity. I've worked for government agencies for about the last decade when it comes to just technology, primarily being in cybersecurity and pretty much refortifying your standard pieces of technology and or software or systems and applications applicable with that. I fell in love with the idea of artificial intelligence and machine learning. Currently going to school for my master's in artificial intelligence and machine learning. I really want to educate those around me about artificial intelligence. The biggest thing is, with technology growing as fast as it is, people are becoming more and more wary to utilize it because they feel like if I give it so much, it's going to start taking it away from me. So I want to kind of bridge that gap as best I can.
And let's talk about that a little bit. And I think a good place to start for everybody who's watching, Will and I have had a lot of offline conversations about this. And one thing that comes up is OpenAI and ChatGPT. That seems to be like the go-to for creators and agency owners and stuff like that. But you say that there are other options out there,
Absolutely.
um, and but just tell me a little bit like let's start with ChatGPT though. So tell me a little bit like a lot of people use it for copy creation and to kind of compress time and stuff like that. If you had an agency and you were going to integrate something like ChatGPT, where would you start with it? Like, what are the capabilities? Is it really just is that all you can do with it? Is just writing Facebook posts or blogs or stuff, or is there more to it that we can use it for?
So you can use it for quite a bit of quite a bit of things. You got content creation. You can do email marketing. You can do um, like it. Most people, as you can see with the college, people write papers and this that, and the third. It's like Google, but on steroids. It gives you the information in depth in writing. That way you can utilize it for whatever you want. I've seen people use it for blog posts. I've seen people use it to like self correct. Like it does what Grammarly does, but like I said, at a faster rate. It's the usage for ChatGPT are just at this point endless is due to the fact that we are continuously feeding it information. It makes new tabs based off the questions that we give it and based off the information that we feed it. So it continues to grow at a rapid pace. So at this point right now, ChatGPT is going to be endless, and it's also trying to compete with the other alternatives. So at some point in time, I'm pretty sure it's going to come out with, hey, I can make pictures for you now. I can do automated videos for you now. I can do,
Mhm.
I can set phone calls and this and the third,
So
things like
that one thing that you said that's really interesting to me, and full disclosure, guys, I use ChatGPT all the time, and it's really a time saver for me. I've spent a lot of time with it, teaching it my brand voice and how I like to communicate, and so I've fed it a lot of data. So when I have to write new content, I'll feed it something and I'll say, give me something based on this, and when it spits it out, it's really just my job almost becomes an editor. Like I'm not a creator anymore. Now I'm just editing it to kind of clean up the rough edges and really give it that human feel. But one thing I never thought about using it before you just said so uh, was as a grammar check, and it can actually do that. So you can throw stuff in there and it will make sure everything is grammatically correct.
Yeah. So long as you use
That's
the proper prompts, yes, you can, and also you can also give it a tone. That is one of those big things that kind of helps keep that human feel with it. You can say, hey, make this professional, make this dynamic, make this more caring, supportive, motivating, and people use these prompts to get that to get the outcome that they wish. So yeah.
and that's true. I mean, that's one of the reasons when I said I fed it my brand voice, that's exactly what I did. I gave it a lot of content that I wrote myself, and I told it like, like just look at the feel, look at how I communicate with people, because I like to communicate very informally. I'm not a big, I write words like gonna, Gonna, instead of going to. It's just it gives you more of that friendly feel, when you
Yes.
read stuff, and more of a conversational tone. Anything I write is meant to come across that way, and and I usually have a certain mood to it and stuff like that. So feeding it my brand voice kind of gives it all of that, but it took me a while, to get it to where it needed to be, because I had to feed it a lot of content till it kind of nailed it down. So with that in mind, like when we're talking chatbots and stuff like that, there's all kinds of different things out there. I've seen people actually pitch me, right? They've pitched me chatbots that are connected to like OpenAI and stuff like that. So I haven't seen them. They haven't impressed me. Let me put it to you that way, because the reason for that is because it sounds really great, right? It sounds like you're getting Chat GPT in this little bubble that you can use for whatever you need to, almost like it becomes your personal assistant.
Mhm.
But I haven't seen it be able to take instructions that way. Is there something in like the source code or the API code, or is it just it's because of the way it's programmed? Like what's the missing link there?
So when it comes to personnel kind of giving you the moon, they can give you the moon. It's possible. Trust me, when it comes to artificial intelligence, the possibilities currently are endless. But the delivery might be a little bit off. So and also you're going to pay for a lot of this. Nothing is free. You're going to pay for a lot of that. But when it comes to ChatGPT or using the API source code, this, that, and third, you actually have to instruct the API. You have to instruct the actual artificial intelligence to do things in a certain manner. If you don't, then it will not work as it's supposed to. I can, when people, if anybody wants to reach out, I can give you a demonstration of I say do this and it does this, and I'll take it away, and then it won't do it anymore. It'll be all over the place. It will go rogue. It'll just try to figure it out for itself. It's almost like house training a pet or whatever. You want to keep the source code or the AI within the realms of your instructions. And when you give these instructions, they have to be very, very, very specific, because if they're not, it will find a way out and it will move on. It will do like a space filler, if it will, right? And make its own rule in the process to make it work for it. So the goal is to have those guidelines already, or those guardrails already set up, so it follows through. If you don't do that correctly, then yes, you'll not get the result that you're looking for.
So what you're saying, and the pet analogy kind of hit home for me. I'm a dog lover. I have 2 dogs at home, and I don't allow them on my furniture. So I have like dog beds for them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But a couple years ago, we found a stray on the highway, and we brought it home until we could, figure out what to do with it. And this dog did not have the same rules that mine did, and as soon as it got in my house, it jumped right on my chair, and my other dogs are just not having it. And but that kind of leads to what you were talking about. So
Yeah.
these people promising all this stuff, right? If your bot is not trained properly within the confines of what you want it to do,
Then
it will not be well behaved. It will not listen to the prompts that you want it to and stuff like that. So you're not going to get the end result that you want. And since we're talking about this, most people, when they want bots, they want 2 things out of it. They want an appointment setter, or they want it to be like a smart bot. And there is a difference. And if you can elaborate a little bit on that, because I think, and myself included, until I start talking to you, I was thinking like if I needed a setter bot, this thing had to be smart. It had to have a human to human like conversation, but that's not necessarily the case. So if you can help us out and kind of explain the difference between a smart bot and a point click setter bot, that would be great.
So the point click bots, they're smart, but they're not really smart. What they do is it gets you from point A to point B, or point A to point Z, in a quickly, very efficient timely manner, while still grabbing the information that is needed for the agency owner to provide further assistance to you. So it will take you from the start line, it will take you to the finish line with no left or right limits. So if you ever looked at if you ever played like one of those old school games where it's like, you know, you walk into a room, you got like A, B, and C, or you have like step 1, step 2, step 3, it's like go left, go right. Well, once you go left, you can never go back right. You can never get those menu items again. You go left and you enter another room. It's like there's a treasure box. Open. What do? Open the treasure box or walk away from it. If you walk away from it, you will never go back to that. So the goal is to just get you continuously keep you moving through until you make it to the end result, which is the finish line. So that is what a point and click. They're not smart. They just get the job done. So if you say
it's essentially an interactive funnel.
It is an interactive funnel. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That makes a lot of sense. So you have your prospect, and you have this setter bot, and it's operating on instructions that are obviously pre-programmed in there. And then it depending on what the prospect says, yes or no, it's going to go down this logic tree, and it's just going to kind of keep shrinking until you get the end result, which is capturing their information.
Yes, sir.
So
that's exactly what it is. You actually said it way better than me.
Well, thank you. When you're saying that, so we captured the information now, and I guess this is where people get hung up between point click and smart bots, because when we're thinking of a setter bot, like in my experience, before I became an agency owner, I did a lot of sales closing, and like we had appointment setters, right? And appointment setters, they're qualifying people, and that's what our funnel's doing. That it's qualifying people. But after they qualify, and they're like, hey man, you qualify, and I'd love to, get you on a schedule and whatever with my closer, right? So now they make the appointment, and I get an email, and it's like, hey, you got an appointment with so and so at 6 p.m. So that's where I think people think you need a smart bot. So the setter bot, it can do that. It can actually put somebody on my schedule.
Yeah. So if you structure it correctly, yes, it's like I said, it's an interactive funnel. And if your end goal is to say, hey, I need you to get to this link, then yes, we can run you all the way down. We can ask all the primary questions that need to be asked, like such as your budget, challenges, goals. Have you ever worked with this? Are you the primary person that makes all the decisions? We can ask all those, those strong questions and
that's all. I'm sorry, that's all customizable.
That's all customizable.
Okay.
Everything I've said is 1000% customizable. If you don't have those questions in mind, I'm able to scale as many questions as possible through that. If you don't want to do 10, you want to do 5, we can do that. If you want to do 30, we can do that. So it's everything is all customizable is the breakdown. And the biggest thing when you do that are the loop backs, because you're going to have the no's, and the no's is going to scare. It is what scares most people. Cool thing about these bots is that we already have it set up to ask these questions. Say, hey, is there anything I can do to make it feel, make this worth your while, and then send you back through the interactive funnel to get you down to the actual link, which is the end result of what you want to get to your appointment setting, like your Calendly or something of that nature.
So now, would there be a way, let's say me as an agency owner, and I have a couple closers under me, is there a way that my smart bot, if you were to come to my website and go down this funnel, or I said smart bot, we're talking about the setter here. So right. If you came to my website and you were talking to my setter bot, and you went down that funnel, and it ultimately led to you scheduling an appointment, does it have to be just with one closer, or can it be like a round robin thing where like it's going to schedule on my calendar, and then maybe the next guy comes and they're going to schedule on my closer's calendar? You know what I'm saying?
So we can set it up so long as you have those links that go there. Yes, it can be a round robin as well as much as you want. I always recommend when you do multiple links like that, you say, hey, this link goes here, this link goes here, to kind of help you, to kind of help not thin you out so much, because once these bots are moving and grooving, they work 24 hours, 7 days a week, no sleep. So you might get somebody at night that's like, I can do it on the same day or whatnot. So that the deconfliction comes with you because like I said, you still have to have human interaction, which you being the human, you have to do the deconflictions. And if you have more than one, then yes, we can always set up a round robin style to say, hey, you take this number, right? My calendar is full. You take this many, my calendar is full. Things of that nature.
So and that this is just the way my mind works. So if I had, let's say I had 2 closers under me, and so and myself, so we got three people that can do sales closing here, and let's say that my first employee, he's a superstar. Let's say I'm average and my other guy is new. Okay, so different skill levels. With the round robin, can we weight that? Like put a so that it's going to look at the calendars and it's going to go, hey, I want to fill the rock star first, and then the other guy, and then finally to the new guy. Is that a feature, or are we now looking more for like smart stuff there? And
you're looking more into smart stuff for that. It doesn't. So when you do the point click, it's literally just to get you to where you want to go. If you want your rock star to be the rock star, then he's going to be option number 1. You can probably put him as like, this is your best option. And then you can put this person as your second best or your third best. But it's not going to say, hey, this person is better based off this. No, it's however you want it to be set up. That is your point click. That is what it's going to do.
So could you do percentages though, and then be like, okay, so I want my rock star to get like 60% of the appointments. I want my average guy to get 25% of the appointments, and I want the new guy to get whatever's left. Could you do that?
So at this moment, I can't really give you that answer because, like I said, percentages, and you're dealing with you're asking more of the human aspect of it now.
Okay.
So I can't really say that. Because once it goes live, it's just working. That's all it does. It doesn't go in between saying this person is the best and this person is your worst choice. It's saying, hey, this is what I am told to do. These are the 3 people that I said to talk to. Whoever you get to first is who you get to first. That is not up to me to decide. That is up to the consumer and the client to decide. If that makes any sense.
Right. No, it does. So, so now, we've kind of covered the point click setter bot. Tell me a little bit about the smart bot and where the advantage, we know why we would use a setter. What would be the advantage of the smart bot then?
So the smart bot is pretty much your talk through of your website, right? It will go in and pretty much answer all the questions that you may have. Like, what do you do? What services do you have? Give me your contact information, this, that, and the third. There's a small downside with that though. Because it's just you interacting, it's not going to capture too much information. It's not going to, you can capture the information by way of transcripts, but it's not going to capture those key information such as your name, your number, this, that, and the third, because it's pretty much like being on the phone with customer service. It's just saying, hey, I just need assistance to getting here or going left or right. Tell me a little bit more about you. And then it puts the control, it takes control from the actual bot and puts it back into the hands of the actual client.
I was, when you mentioned customer service, I kind of had I sort of laughed a little bit there because that's exactly the thought that was going on in my head. And one thing that occurred to me, that depending on the business that you're on, you get a lot of frequently asked questions that are often the same. Mm-hmm. And I suppose too, like if you were selling something, if you're doing home improvement or something like that, that's the kind of thing where people have a lot of questions before they want to buy. And even car dealerships, like nobody wants to go to a car dealership and talk to a sales guy because they know they're going to be pitched.
Yeah.
And so something like this, if you had this there, right, like a home improvement site or something like that, and you had a smart bot, could you program it? So like if I went to this site and I said, hey, I'm thinking about putting a Florida room on my house, approximately, what would be the best, vinyl or wood or whatever, could I have it ask questions like that?
Yeah. So yes, you can ask the question like that, and based off your site. So if you have vinyl or wood or whatnot, or something in the background of if you have something on your site that
Mhm.
I can take from your site, I can scrape it. I'm going to web scrape your site to get that information. It will automatically populate saying, hey, this is what we recommend, blah, 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 this and the third. It will give you like a nice little long blurb about what works for you.
Is your site the only place that it can get that information from, though, or can you draw it from somewhere else as well?
So you can draw from other sites. I can, as much
Okay.
information as you want me to, like I said, we're training your artificial intelligence to do what you want to do.
So
Now,
that's fully customizable too, then.
absolutely, 100%.
Because one of the things that I'm, in my head, the way I'm seeing this work is with, and you probably know this, with SEO, you want people on your website for longer than 30 seconds.
Yes,
So
sir.
if you can keep them engaged, and especially with something like home improvement or car dealerships or something, these are huge purchases, and people often like to dream about them before they like to act on them. So
Correct.
if you can have them interacting with this chatbot and talking about, well, what's better, vinyl siding or I don't know, brick or whatever, that kind of thing, and then it can give you the pros and cons of each and stuff like that. It'll just get you thinking. And as a sales person, that's kind of what goes on in my mind. I'm like, okay, well, then every time I start fantasizing about expanding my house or doing this or that, I'm going to go back there because I can talk to this bot and I
Yeah.
know I'm not going to be pitched. But what that does is it keeps you top of mind, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So you can, it's always there. It's the ideal salesman because it's not pushy
Yep.
and it gives you all the information you want and you
It's
don't have to
completely
pay it a
non-biased.
commission.
It's so you bringing up that studies have shown that people are more in tune to talk to like chatbots and virtual friends, this, that, and the third, because of the non-bias. They want somebody they can just talk
Interesting.
to that doesn't judge them, right? I'm pretty sure, if I was to come up to you and actually like, what's 2 + 2? You probably like, wait, why are you asking 2 + 2? You should know that it's 4. I can feel your judgment before you even say it. But I mean, it's true. It's
And
to the simplistic question like that. Most people would say, well, dang, like, did you go to school? I can feel the judgment. So
mhm.
people are more inclined to talk to these smart bots because it's like, I'm gonna ask a question, and it's gonna give me an answer. That's it. I just need the answer right now. I don't want to feel like I'm being judged because I don't know the difference between 3 feet and 3 meters.
Yeah, and that's a really good point, and I don't know how many other people have this, but like now that all these places have apps that you can order food from,
Yep.
like I almost prefer to order my food on the app because I am the most picky eater you will ever meet. So being able to go in and customize my food on an app, knowing that I'm not being judged by the person behind the counter taking my order, which they probably don't care. I mean, but it's still it's that feeling of oh, I'm being a pain in the butt here by changing all this stuff up. So being able to do it in a judgment-free zone, using artificial intelligence, I totally get where you're coming from. That makes a lot of sense. So one other thing I want to ask you about. So we've kind of covered the difference between the smart bots and the chat bots, or the setter bots rather. We talked a little bit about Chat GPT and some of the uses for it. One thing that I'm kind of concerned about though is how do you know, like, I mean, we're talking about this and we've been going back and forth on this for a while offline and stuff like that. And I can tell you, and you've probably seen it too, based on our conversations and the things that we've been Googling while we've been talking, just on Facebook alone, there's all kinds of advertisements for people selling chat bots and different artificial intelligence programs and stuff like that. And one thing that always makes me kind of nervous is how can you tell, right? How can you tell who's reputable and who's not? So, and what I mean by that is if I was interested in getting one, like how do I shop around for that? How do I make sure that I'm getting what I'm paying for here?
So that's a loaded question. It's it's really hard. It's really hard to shop around and figure out without actually utilizing it. I'm going to say
Mm-hmm.
that now because the AI, the chatbots, this automation thing is still fresh. It's still brand new. It's still new. ChatGPT only came out a few years ago, and people are
Mm-hmm.
still trying to wrap their heads completely around it. you know, and
Sure.
then personnel is like, yo, I can do this and I can do that, but they're still working the kinks out of it too. And then big businesses are actually fighting back against it because people are seeing that some of the stuff is coming off as spammy. So when you are in the marketplace to shop around, there's no real answer other than to try it. I can't say anything else but to try it. You would have to go in and try it. You can read about it, and you can read about it. You can read reviews. You can Google it. But that's pretty much the only thing that you can go for. But if it sounds too good to be true, just it might just
Might be. So one thing that sort of helped me, not necessarily with AI, I haven't really until recently been in the market for, but in general with things that I'm unfamiliar with, that I don't quite understand or don't have a grasp of, I tend to look for that human connection. And I think if in a situation like this, yes, we're talking about AI, but somebody is programming that AI, somebody is building that chatbot, and that's where I think you can you can discern the difference between whether it's a good product or not. It's how you connect on a human level with the person that you're dealing with, the man behind the curtain, if you will. And I think that's.
I'm sorry.
No, go please.
No, I was going to say I strongly agree with the organic approach. I mean, anybody can go out there and pump hundreds and thousands of dollars into advertisement, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when I get to that, that last little click, who am I talking with? Who am I actually going to speak with? Am I speaking to someone who doesn't really know your brand and your business and know your voice, or am I speaking to the person that actually is doing the work and can prove to me and provide, not just hip pocket training, but actual contextual information that helps me make the best decision for me. And that's what I believe that I provide.
Sure.
I like to do this. I want to help people. I don't want you to be in the dark. I don't want you to pay extra for integration features and things of that nature. I want to give you everything that you need to help you pursue that American dream, to make that, to make your goal an actual reality. The last thing I want to do is give someone a hard time because we're already going through hard times. I don't want to be another burden, if you will. So
that's a really good point. I mean, it does, it comes down to, you're either a client or you're a number. Mm-hmm. And you want people, and even that with client, I really sometimes even hesitate to use that word. I prefer to think of things more as partnerships.
Yeah.
Because, even though somebody's paying you, you still have a vested interest in them doing well, So I tend to look at it that way. And I think that's the best thing to do when you're trying to navigate unfamiliar territory. You want to have a partner, you want to have an ally. Mm-hmm. And that really is probably going to be the biggest difference between whether you're getting a good product or a bad product, because that person, if they're your partner, they're going to listen to you, and they're going to move heaven and earth to give you exactly what you want and what they promised. Mm-hmm. So guys, listen, we're almost out of time here. I want to let you know that we're coming back Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and we're going to be live here at 6 p.m. Eastern time for the rest of the week. This is pretty early today, but we're coming back later in the week at later times so that we can continue this discussion. For those that are interested, we dropped a link to a landing page. We have one of our chatbots on there that you can play with and kind of see what we were talking about. And we didn't really get into it. We'll probably talk a little bit about it more tomorrow, but that is our hybrid bot. And that is a sort of combination of the setter bot and the smart bot. And we do have a couple minutes left here. We have about 1 minute left. So, Will, if you can real quick, just give us a quick rundown of what a hybrid bot is compared to the smart and the setter.
So in short, the hybrid is a combination of the smart bot and the point click bot. You can get the dynamic information up front from entrance, and then you can go right into just regular quick Q&A about your actual website without any miss anything. And it also comes with the transcript and this, that, and the third, so you can always retain all the information, what they've done, and when you actually reach back out to them, you are able to tell them exactly what they said to kind of help facilitate all the information that
And one thing I do want to add, when you go from the setter to the smart side, you cannot go back. That's true? Am I saying that properly, Will?
Yes. Currently, we're working on how to go backwards. But as of right now, once we get you out of one and you go into the other, you can't go back into the other. That's just kind of how it is as of right now. But I'm working on trying to fix that so we can go back and forth. I can kind of loop you throughout, and you can ask as many questions and this, that, and the third. So I'm working on it. So it's just a not right now thing, but it is. I'm working on it.
Well, perfect. Will, thank you for your time, and I look forward to our conversations the rest of the week moving forward.
I look forward to it as well. If y'all have any questions or comments, please feel free to just put it in the comment area below, and I'll do my best to vet those and have that ready have an answer for you all throughout this week.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you so much, Will.
Thank you.